Welcome to Making Art Monday. Today we are going to work with the art of quilling. So when you open up your kit, you'll find a large piece of paper, a little tub of glue, you'll find a pencil, and you'll find all different colored strips of paper. And quilling is the art of taking these little strips of paper and wrapping them around a pencil in this case and creating these little curls. So I'm going to show you a little curl real quick. So I literally just wrap this strip of paper right around the pencil, and I'll show you this a couple times, and then you're going to pull it off the end of the pencil, and it makes this little curl, this cute little curl. And you're going to use these cute little curls to create a design on your paper. And the way that you do that is by opening up your glue and kind of stamping the little quill, as we're going to call it, these little quills, into the glue and then put it on your paper. But I'm going to slow that down a little bit because there's a couple different ways that you can do this. And I'm going to actually show you with a slightly larger piece of strip of paper so that you can see it a little bit better in this video. So I'm just going to let that curl there. Here's one that I've been working on. So I've created all these little curly cues or quills, and then I've glued them onto a smaller piece of paper. You'll notice the one on the top is a slightly different shape, and I'll show you how to make that one as well. But again, I'm going to use a way bigger piece of paper so it's a little bit easier. Actually, I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit easier to show you with this larger piece in the video than with the smaller pieces. So I'm just going to use this larger piece so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking the paper strip and I'm just wrapping it around the pencil. And it might take you a couple times with your fingers to just kind of get it started, but once you get that piece of paper started, it's pretty easy to get it to wrap around the pencil. Just use your fingers, and you can tell I cut my finger this morning, so even with a little cut on my finger, I'm still able to wrap this piece of paper around the pencil, and then I can pull the pencil right out, and it gives me this little quill or paper tube. And again, I'm showing you on the larger piece of paper just so you can see it a little bit easier in the video. And then once you have that quill made, you're going to open up your glue, which maybe I should have opened up the glue first. Just be a little careful getting that glue open. And you're just going to stamp just a little bit into the glue, just so you get that, just a little tiny bit of glue. You don't need a ton of glue. You can even use the lid to kind of make sure that you have enough glue on there, but not so that it's like dripping everywhere. So if you can see, it's just like a little stamp of glue. And then I'm going to use the one that I started. You can glue, you can hold that little tube down right onto your paper. It might take a couple minutes for it to dry and for the glue to kind of get sticky. It might open up a little bit, so just hold on to it and let the glue kind of dry. And you can create any kind of design with these little quills. Now I'm going to leave this, set this aside again, so we can make some other shapes too. So again, I'm using a slightly bigger piece of paper just so it shows up on the camera. It's a little bit easier to see, but it's just as easy to wrap this paper around the pencil and create these little quills or paper tubes. Now see this one? Got a nice circle there. You can also, if you wanted to create a different shape, you could pinch one of the edges to kind of make a teardrop shape, or you can pinch both edges and kind of flatten it out, and it almost makes like almost like a diamond shape. So that's just an option for that. Now I'll show you again with the little tiny strips that are in your kit. Just wrapping it around. You can go kind of slow with this. Again, I'm doing this with a hurt finger, so you should be able to do it pretty easily. And then you just slide that pencil out. You've got that little curlicue or that quill, and you're just gonna dip it just a little bit into the glue and then put it right on your paper, the larger piece of paper. Now, if it does keep kind of coming unrolled, you can put a little bit of glue on the edge. Of that curl, of that quill. And I'll show you on the next one. So let's make another quill, just wrapping it around the pencil. And you can make any design that you want. If you want to just kind of put the quills all over the paper, if you want to make, you know, start with something right in the middle and kind of add pieces to around a middle piece, you can do that too. Now you'll see this one, I'm leaving like a little, see where it's open there? You can put a little bit of glue there, just kind of dip it into your glue, and that might help keep that little quill. Again, we're working with little tiny pieces here, so it might help keep that together. And you don't need much glue at all, just stamp it in that little glue pot and then go right onto your paper. You might just need to hold it down a little bit with your finger. If you want to, again, start with something right in the middle. So I'll just do some other pieces right around here. Some other quills. You can make a flower, you can make a design, or you can just be a little bit more abstract, which means it doesn't really need to look like anything. It can just be kind of whatever wants to come out of your brain, whatever you're thinking about, or whatever, wherever the paper says it wants to go. You can do it that way too. If it's helpful to turn the pencil to create the little quills, you can do that too. I'm going to leave this little edge open here again and just put a little tiny bit of glue on the edge and wrap it around so that closes up my little quill. And then I'm just going to stamp it. This time I'm just going to stamp it in the lid. There's enough glue there. And you don't need a ton of glue. And I'm going to put it next to the other glue, and I'm going to just keep going around in a circle. And maybe I'm just going to keep going around in a circle while I'm in a circle, or like the one that I started over here, maybe I'll make a few that are this shape. This one was just another example, but this, you can really play with these and put the little quills wherever you want them. You have a ton of different sheets or strips of paper here, so whatever you can imagine. I'll make just another one, and I'll show you how to make another shape after this one. One more time. Just rolling it on the pencil. And again, leaving a little tail out. So I'll stick that little tail just in the glue, just a tiny, tiny little bit, just a couple specks of glue on there. I'll hold it just for a second so it kind of keeps together there. And then I'm going to stamp it in my glue again. show you closer. Just gonna stamp it in the lid. Don't need much glue. Now I've got 4 pieces down. All right, so let's show you, let's see, what color should we use? How about we use this, how about we use this black color? I'll wrap this around the pencil, and maybe I'll make one of those diamond sort of shapes with this one. And you're just doing the best you can. If all of your quills, maybe your quills kind of come out and they end up being a little bit more open, that's okay too. You can use that in your design. I'll slip this off the, again, put just a little tiny bit of glue on that little tail. And for this one, I'm just gonna squeeze it, and that will make that little diamond shape. So then I can dip that little diamond shape in the glue and make a shape that comes out. So can you see that little shape that comes out? Almost like a little beak, so I could even see somebody making like maybe like a little bird shape or something. But that is quilling, just the act of wrapping these little strips of paper around. You know, you could use something else if you wanted to use something bigger. If the pencil is a little hard for your fingers, you could use something a little bigger to wrap it around and just make your quills, they'll come out a little bit larger. But for this, the pencil should work well, and just keep on adding to your design. Right? Be a good artist, and yeah, if you want to show any of your friends how to do this, it's pretty easy, and enjoy making art.